Does success really depend on how much you talk? Many people often think that extroverts are more likely to succeed because they talk a lot, communicate well, and easily attract attention. They are often the center of conversations, confidently share ideas, and easily build social relationships. But is that truly the deciding factor in success? On the other hand, introverts are usually seen as quiet, thoughtful, and less expressive. They spend more time observing, listening, and analyzing. Some believe that this quiet and careful nature makes introverts more intelligent, more focused, and thus more likely to succeed. So who's right? Does success really come from talking more or talking less? Or is there a deeper reason most people fail to recognize? In reality, success isn't determined by how much we speak, but by how we use our energy and focus on action. Some people talk very little but accomplish a great deal. Others may speak beautifully, but their actions lead nowhere. Speaking about goals can create temporary excitement, but if not followed by timely action, it often leads to a loss of focus and motivation. Today's video begins with these questions to deliver a profound message. Sometimes silence is the greatest strength that leads to success. A seemingly harmless habit that secretly holds you back from success. On the journey to success, everyone has their own dreams, goals, and plans. However, there's a very common habit that few notice, yet it silently holds us back: talking too much about our goals and intentions. As soon as a good idea pops up, many people immediately share it with friends, family, or even post it on social media. This brings a feeling of excitement, recognition, and encouragement. But the danger is that this feeling mimics the satisfaction of having accomplished something, even when no real action has taken place. The brain records that feeling of satisfaction as if you've already made progress, and from there, your true motivation starts to fade. Moreover, when you overshare, you're easily influenced by comments, doubts, or disapproval from others. Some people may not support you. Some might even try to make you doubt yourself. Instead of focusing on action, you end up dealing with unnecessary external pressure. Silence doesn't mean secrecy or a lack of confidence. It's a wise choice to protect your energy and goals from outside negativity. When you keep your big plans to yourself and only share them after taking action, you'll see clearer and more sustainable growth. Success doesn't come from public promises, but from quiet and steady progress. You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold. David's story. The price of talking too much. David was a smart, hardworking boy with big dreams. He always nurtured within himself the desire to become a top student, to learn new skills, and to build a bright future. He believed that as long as he had clear goals and worked hard, success would follow. However, David had a habit that he didn't realize was holding him back. He talked too much about his dreams and plans. Every time he learned something new, he would immediately share it with those around him. He told his friends, parents, and teachers what he wanted to do, what he was going to do, and what he was currently working on. David thought that sharing would help him stay motivated and gain encouragement. At first, he did receive a lot of praise and admiration. But over time, something strange happened. David's academic performance didn't improve. In fact, it dropped to average. Though he said many great things, the results didn't match. Some people even began to mock him, saying he was all talk and no action. Feeling sad and confused, David decided to visit his grandfather, someone he always trusted. Seeing his grandson quiet and gloomy, the grandfather gently asked what was wrong. David finally opened up. "I share a lot about my dreams, but I feel like I'm drifting further away from them." And from that moment, David's journey of transformation began. You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold. Grandfather's lesson: the power of silence. After listening to David's worries, his grandfather didn't rush to give advice. Instead, he told a gentle yet meaningful story. Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a farmer named Thomas. Though he was poor, Thomas always dreamed of a better life, a large farm full of crops and a cozy home. But what was special about him was that he never shared this dream with anyone. He simply worked quietly each day, saved every penny, slowly bought small plots of land, and patiently planted seeds. When villagers asked why Thomas worked so hard, he just smiled and said, "You'll understand in time." Years later, he had built a large farm and a beautiful home, shocking the whole village. When asked why he never talked about his dream, Thomas replied, "When you talk too much, two things happen. Others try to discourage you, and you waste energy on words instead of actions. Silence protects your dreams." The grandfather looked at David and said, "Son, when you share too much, your brain might be tricked into thinking you've already achieved something. That's why your motivation drops. Keep your silence. It helps you stay focused and go further." You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold. David began to realize where the real problem was. David, when silence became the key to success. After that deep conversation with his grandfather, David felt awakened. He realized that all this time he had been wasting too much energy on talking rather than doing. The praise and admiration he once relied on had distracted him from his real goals. From that day forward, David decided to change. He no longer shared his plans or dreams with anyone, not even those closest to him. He quietly created a study schedule, worked on his weaknesses, and seriously pursued small goals every day. He avoided unnecessary conversations and learned to say no to time-wasting activities. Instead of relying on words for motivation, David began to measure himself by real results. And then something amazing happened. In the final exam, not only did he improve his grades, he ranked first in the entire school. His friends and teachers were shocked. When asked for his secret, David simply smiled, remembering his grandfather's words, "Let success speak for you." Time passed, and David continued living quietly and acting steadily. Thanks to this, he became a successful entrepreneur, a role model for many young people. He didn't need to say much. His transformation and achievements spoke for themselves. Success, in the end, is the clearest voice of all. You are watching the video on YouTube Tales Unfold. Final message: let your success speak. In life, whether you're someone who talks a lot or very little mostly depends on your personality, and that's okay. Extroverts enjoy sharing, while introverts prefer to keep things to themselves. But there's one important thing everyone should remember. Not everything needs to be shared, especially your personal goals, dreams, and plans. Speaking too soon can create a false sense of satisfaction, as if you've already accomplished something. But that's only an illusion. It slows you down, taking away the urgency and real motivation to act. The brain mistakenly thinks you've progressed, when in fact you haven't even started. Not everyone understands, supports, or truly wants you to succeed. When you share too much, you may face criticism, doubt, or even jealousy. Such reactions can easily discourage and confuse you. That's why silence becomes a unique strength. Silence doesn't mean weakness or lack of confidence. It reflects focus, maturity, and inner strength. When you pour all your energy into action instead of words, you move faster and more steadily. Let your results speak louder than promises. Let your success be the clearest answer. Stay focused, work quietly, and one day the whole world will see you shine.